Boundaries, the secret ingredient to healthy love. In every thriving relationship, there's one invisible force that strengthens love, protects emotional well-being, and promotes mutual respect. Boundaries, often misunderstood as walls or ultimatums. Healthy boundaries are anything but harsh. In fact, they are the secret ingredient that keeps love clear, balanced, and sustainable. We often romanticize love as the removal of all barriers, a total merging of hearts, minds, and lives. And while deep connection is essential to intimacy, love without boundaries quickly leads to confusion, emotional exhaustion, and, ironically, disconnection. Healthy love isn't bound. It's rooted in mutual respect, where both individuals feel seen, safe, and heard. Boundaries are not about keeping people out. They're about letting love in, safely and sustainably. Let's take a deeper look at what boundaries are, why they matter, and how to create and honor them in your relationships. What are boundaries in a relationship? Boundaries are the personal limits we set to protect our values, space, and emotional needs. They define what is acceptable and unacceptable in how we're treated and how we treat others. Think of boundaries as the guidelines that keep your relationship safe, honest, and thriving. Therefore, they are guidelines that define how we want to be treated and how we treat others. Boundaries can sound like, "I don't feel comfortable discussing this right now. I need a few hours to recharge after work before talking. Please don't raise your voice when we're having a disagreement. I value my privacy, and I'd prefer to keep my messages between us." But in actual sense, they help answer questions like, what behaviors am I okay with? How much time alone do I need? What are my non-negotiables? How do I communicate when something hurts me? Boundaries aren't punishments. They are acts of clarity and self-care, and they're vital for maintaining a healthy relationship dynamic where both people feel empowered and emotionally supported. Healthy boundaries don't keep love out, they let love in, safely and respectfully. Why boundaries matter? Without boundaries, even the strongest love can become strained. Lack of clarity leads to confusion, resentment, and burnout. Overstepping boundaries can feel like emotional invasion, while unclear limits can create dependency, guilt, or imbalance. Boundaries are essential because they encourage open and honest communication, build trust and mutual respect, prevent emotional overload or codependency, support individual growth within the relationship, make space for both connection and independence. Just as fences protect a garden without hiding it, boundaries protect the relationship without cutting off intimacy. Without boundaries, love can become overwhelming, confusing, or even toxic. You may start to feel resentful or drained, like your needs are constantly ignored, afraid to say no out of fear of upsetting your partner, suffocated or overly dependent, unable to recognize yourself within the relationship. No matter how strong the attraction or how deep the emotional bond, a relationship without boundaries cannot thrive. It creates an imbalance where one or both partners feel lost, neglected, or controlled. Common myths about boundaries and love. Let's dispel a few myths that stop people from setting boundaries. Myth 1. If I set boundaries, I'm pushing them away. Truth. Healthy boundaries bring people closer. They create trust and show that you value the relationship enough to nurture it honestly. Myth 2. If they loved me, I wouldn't need to ask. Truth. Your partner isn't a mind reader. Boundaries invite communication, which deepens connection and understanding. Myth 3. Setting boundaries is selfish. Truth. Boundaries are an act of self-respect, not selfishness. They allow you to love from a place of emotional integrity, not sacrifice. Types of boundaries in healthy relationships. 1. Emotional boundaries. Respecting each other's feelings and limits. For example, I'm not ready to talk about this right now, but I will later. 2. Physical boundaries. Includes comfort with touch, space, and personal time. I need time to recharge alone after work. 3. Digital boundaries. Navigating phone use, social media, and privacy. I prefer we don't check each other's phones unless asked. For sexual boundaries, consent, comfort levels, and open conversations about intimacy, let's talk about what we're both comfortable with. 5. Time boundaries. Balancing time together and apart. Spending Sundays with my family is really important to me. 6. Financial boundaries. Spending habits, shared responsibilities, and transparency. Let's agree on a budget for big purchases. Each type plays a role in creating a relationship that honors both partners' needs and values. Setting boundaries doesn't mean conflict, it means clarity. It's natural to fear that setting a boundary might upset your partner. But when communicated with love and clarity, boundaries aren't barriers, they're bridges. They say, I love you, and I want to love you in a way that feels healthy for both of us. How to express a boundary? Be clear and direct. I feel overwhelmed when plans change last minute. Can we agree to confirm things a day ahead? Use I statements. Focus on how you feel, not what they're doing wrong. Be open to compromise. Relationships are about mutual understanding. Remember, a loving partner won't be offended by your needs. They'll be grateful that you trusted them enough to share them. How to set healthy boundaries. 1. Know your needs. Get clear about what you value, what triggers discomfort, and what you need to feel safe and connected. 2. Communicate clearly and calmly. Use I statements to avoid blame. For example, I feel anxious when plans change last minute. Can we try to stick to what we decide? 3. Be consistent. If you set a boundary, hold to it. Mixed signals weaken trust and invite confusion. Expect respect, not agreement. Your partner may not always agree with your boundary, but a loving partner will respect it. 5. Be willing to revisit and adjust. As you and your relationship grow, boundaries may evolve. Stay flexible and open to change. Respecting boundaries equals respecting each other. Setting boundaries is only half the equation. The other half, respecting the boundaries your partner sets for themselves. If your partner says, "I need time to cool down before talking," don't push them. "I don't feel comfortable with that topic right now." Don't pressure them. "I want to keep this private." Don't share it without consent. Respecting boundaries shows emotional maturity, care, and real love, the kind that honors, not controls. When boundaries are crossed, it's inevitable that boundaries may be tested, sometimes unintentionally. What matters most is how it's handled. If a boundary is crossed, speak up respectfully and early. Clarify the importance of the boundary. Reaffirm your value and your needs. Notice patterns. If repeated disregard happens, it may signal a deeper issue. Remember, boundaries without consequences aren't boundaries, they're suggestions. Boundaries deepen intimacy. Ironically, the better you are at setting and respecting boundaries, the closer you and your partner can become. That's because healthy love requires differentiation, the ability to whole people with distinct values, dreams, and emotional needs. Boundaries aren't about shutting each other out. They're about loving with open eyes, communicating with courage, holding space for each other's humanity. Final thoughts: boundaries make love sustainable. The healthiest relationships are not the ones with the most intense passion or constant closeness. They're the ones built on mutual respect, honest communication, and emotional safety. Boundaries create a space where love can breathe, where both people can grow, feel safe, and still be deeply connected. So remember, love without boundaries can quickly turn into burnout. But love with boundaries, that's sustainable, fulfilling, and built to last. Real love doesn't erase whom you are, it honors whom you are. And boundaries are what protect that individuality while inviting deeper, more authentic connection. They are not signs of disconnection. They're evidence that you care enough about yourself and your partner to build something real, respectful, and lasting. So whether you're just starting a relationship or have been together for years, ask yourself, what boundaries do I need to feel safe, seen, and supported? Am I honoring my partner's boundaries with the same care I expect for mine? Because in the end, boundaries don't limit love. They liberate it. What's your opinion about this? Please comment, subscribe, share, and like my channel so that you can get more of this content. Thank you.